Amanda, please. Hey, Ned, how's it going?
It's good, man. Why did you do the old Amanda show?
I don't know, man. I got it wrong on purpose. Y'all, we're talking about video makers. This is the Never Ending Adventure podcast. I am Russell, and my co-host is
DJ Netty P, as always.
I got a DJ name too. Y'all know how I feel about being called that. But anyways, yeah, cool episode. The reason I started with that was because we really get like the first check, please. Is it the first check, please, or is it just my mind, my imagination making that up?
No, it's the first one in the show for sure. It comes up again. I think it's season 5. They kind of reference back to this episode. Really great, like Shelby callback, I think.
I like it. I think that's like one of my favorite parts of this episode. It's just the introduction to this like bit that's supposed to reference kind of like the sitcom-y, like
the like
puns.
Stereotypical sitcom thing.
It's good. It's real good. But man, we open up and Finn and Jake have created a movie club, and I love that.
I think it's awesome. I love that we just get, and actually we get all of the main characters that we have met from the show so far, except for Ice King, in this episode.
So many characters. Yeah. I was wondering about that. Is there a reason for that? Are we finally going to get into it? What is happening with this? Why is everybody there?
I think it makes it at least a little bit more canonical. Like, you know how we always jump in and we say we love those canon episodes that make it feel like it's an expanding universe, and things that happened 10 episodes ago don't just like disappear. So I think it's really cool that we see these people interacting. We see LSP interacting with Peppermint Butler. We see Tree Trunks in the same room as like Marceline and Princess Bubblegum. So like, I think that's the good part about this episode, is just kind of bringing that universe together, that not everything has to live exclusively, all Tree Trunks episodes are only in her house in the woods, True.
Very true. Yeah. And even we get to see a little bit of like kind of catching us back up. LSP is maybe still living in the woods. We don't really know, but we do know she's in Ooh, and she's hanging out with Finn and Jake and everybody. And they've created this wonderful club that get everyone together once a week and watch a cool movie from prior to the Mushroom War, which again, I think that's one of the first times, maybe the first time they mentioned that by name, right?
It is the first time they've mentioned it by name. I think they've mentioned vaguely there being like an old war or something, but this is the official titling of the Mushroom War. And it's important, even the way that Jake references it in this episode, is he's like, this technology is from before the Mushroom War. And it's just basically like, a Super 8 camera, or I don't know, it was a Super 8 or was it a digital camera?
Man, I don't know. That's beyond me. I think it was a Super 8 or something like that. I don't think it was just like a whatever the digital camera. I don't know. Can't think of the initials of it. I'm so out of photography at the moment.
Oh yeah, well, regardless,
DSLR or whatever it is. Yeah,
it's definitely kind of the official statement that there was a Mushroom War, and that makes you think about in Adventure Time world, you're like, that makes you think about like little mushroom people, because everything is like sentient in Adventure Time. But in reality, you also are like, oh, mushroom, like mushroom cloud, like, oh my gosh.
You think that's what it was?
Yes, like, I think that's more of
that's terrifying.
What they were leaning towards,
Okay. Whoa. All right. Well, like atomic bomb level stuff, like just nukes.
Oh. That's and I won't throw spoiler drops at you that way, but that's definitely at least what the writers meant for sure. But I don't know if people in Ooh, right? I don't know if Finn and Jake think about that. They probably don't think about it being an atomic bomb. They just probably think it could have been
bombs all over the place.
Exactly.
There are bombs on the ground and like every other scene, around old ancient civilizations and stuff like that, like the old rundown buildings and cop cars everywhere and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But no, anyways, I thought that was cool. And then also we get to see Marceline and Princess Bubblegum kind of connected by mutual friends. We've talked about they have a history together, and a couple episodes back we got to see their first interaction in the show, like where they talk to each other,
Mhm.
and that was a really cool moment. And this, they don't really interact, and they seem to be getting along. We don't see any pranks happening. They're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, they're hanging out here, and I don't know. You can kind of tell Princess Bubblegum is a little bit less stressed out because she's not in her own kingdom. She's not having to like play the part of the princess or the queen or whatever. So I think we see some PB with her guard down.
Well, her clothing even shows that she's wearing a sweatshirt, and I gotta say, it's my favorite PB outfit to date.
Yeah, you think it's just like because it
like that
humanizes
look.
her a little bit more?
Yeah, I think so. It makes her look more likable. It makes me like want to not hate on Princess Bubblegum a little bit because she just seems like a chill, girl. I don't know.
I think she's so chill when she is not doing like kingdomly duties, and I think that it feels pretty consistent across the show that every time they kind of come around and she's just going off with Finn and Jake to do something else. There's not an issue. There's not a problem. She cuts loose. She's really cool. Like that's, I think, even why Finn has a crush on her. Is he sees that side of her,
Yeah. But we did see her drinking from a cup that has a candy person in it, and that is not cool.
A candy people, or is it like, I don't know, she has a special brand of soda that's called like sentient soda or something like that,
Messed up, dude. It's messed up. There's no way around it.
And it's frowning. It has like a little sad face on it too. So I was like,
in her most chill moment.
she's still being tyrannical.
Gosh dang it, dude. Well, I wanted to know, I mean, we didn't really catch up at the beginning of this episode, but before we hop too deep into this episode, we got a couple of things we want to address. Let's first get to a little segment we like to call the Traveler's Log. People have emailed us questions, thoughts, just appreciation for the show. I think we've got 2 emails real fast that we can kind of skim through and discuss. Ned, do you have the first one for us?
Yeah, I got the first one here. This one comes from Robbie, who sent us a great email with a little bit of love, saying that they love the podcast and everything. But they had a great, I think this is I would call this a theoretically speaking here.
Theoretically speaking.
And a spoiler drop, because it's a little bit getting into some stuff with Billy in the future and kind of what happens-ish with Billy. So apologies, Russell. You're going to get a little bit of a spoiler drop, but I think it's not going to ruin anything for you.
Please. There you go. I'm ready.
So yeah, I'm not going to make you mute or go offline for this part. But Robbie's theory about Billy as it comes to the Lich as well is that Billy's actually playing. Have you ever heard of like the snail deal?
No.
Where you can be immortal, but
we get a run from the snail.
Yeah, there will always be a snail that's coming after you.
Terrifying.
Your whole entire life, and if it touches you, you die.
So I don't know if I could do that. I've thought about that situation a lot, and I think it terrifies me.
That back of the head, like always being
forever,
scared,
always. And a snail could come out of anywhere. I don't know.
It's very much like the movie It Follows. If I don't know if you've seen it. It's this old, or
nope. I'm a coward. We know that.
Yeah, it's a scary movie, but same concept, kind of, that like you'll always have a slow person always chasing after you forever. Like,
gotcha.
Very scary. But they're saying that that's actually the reason the snail's in every episode of the show is because he's on his way to get Billy.
Shoot.
And that when Billy dies, it's actually not the Lich, but it's because the snail touched him. And that would explain why Billy's alive with the hole in his chest. So
do you like that theory? How do you feel about that?
I like that theory, but I wish if that theory were to be true, we would just need a little bit more evidence that the snail deal was offered. Or like if Billy mentioned like, I took a bad deal and now I'm immortal. Just something very, if they just dropped a little hint, then I'd love that theory. But I think they don't really they really don't do a lot of Billy lore. And I think that's because the show's all about Finn, Yeah,
that's a shame. Well, I like the theory. I don't really know much about Billy yet, or really the snail. We haven't seen him other than just being in little scenes, but that's a cool theory. I think I've had crazier theories that listeners and people on TikTok have been like, "You're crazy. That's not real. You don't know the show." And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know the show.
I saw some of those comments too, and they're like, "Dude, you don't even know what you're talking about," and you're like, "Exactly. That's why."
That's the point of the podcast.
You know, how do you tell us you don't listen to the podcast without telling us you don't listen to the podcast?
Wow, dude, you're so hip. That was such a
Oh,
great
bro.
reference.
I
No,
know.
I totally agree though. Well, man, thank you, Robbie. We get another one from Derek. And a lot of it's just kind of saying thank you and how much he loves us and loves the podcast. But he doesn't say it that way.
Yes. So
Says
we
he
don't know what you
appreciates.
sound like, Derek.
No, let's give him a voice. I appreciate how much. No, it doesn't sound like that. How much y'all are trying to be respectful for or respective in areas that you may not be very familiar with, while also trying to take multiple perspectives on things that happen in Adventure Time. You guys are doing great. Can't wait to hear you tackle later episodes. And it's great whenever you'll have guests on. He also says, P.S. I know it's late, but I just recently caught up on a couple episodes and the Scholastic Book Fairs. And I always got the Guinness Book of World Records, video game cheat books, or the Pokemon Pokedex books, or books on animals and dinosaurs. And I got to say, the Pokemon Pokedex books, I cherished those as a kid.
I literally think I bought every single one of those things he listed. Like, I think I bought a Tony Hawk Pro Skater Game Boy cheat book there. I think I bought, if I never bought a Guinness Book of World Records, it's because I went to the book fair and stood there for an hour looking at it, and then I had to leave it because they were like $50. And then yes, dude, those Pokemon ones. And was that the one, the Pokedex book? It came with like the poster you could fold out with the first 151 on it. I for sure had that poster.
It was on the back of my childhood bedroom door, and that first 151 Pokemon, I think I had that one and the second Pokedex book they came out with, but the first one had Pikachu on the cover, just like being, the mascot or whatever. And I lived and breathed by that book. But he also says, PPS, I'm excited for when Susan shows up again and for Russell to experience that along with the rest of the show.
Yes.
Derek, thank you. Thank you for hitting us up. And don't forget, y'all, Robbie sent in a photo of his review on Apple Podcasts. And we got to shoot him a sticker. We got to send him a sticker. So anyone else who wants one, send us a review and send us a photo of the review you did on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, quick plug right there. But let's jump back into this, man. I love our Traveler's Log, but we definitely got to get into the meat of video makers.
Yeah, before it gets too late in this episode.
Before it gets too late. Oh yeah. Well, also, just because we are rolling into just the movie club and we love it. I love a scene. I don't know if you caught it because it's really quick, but when Finn's pouring all those drinks, he's pouring it out of one mug, right?
I saw that. Yeah,
and it's got you might correct me if I'm wrong. I know you did RuneScape more than I did, but Furthok or Futhok, which is an Anglo-Saxon rune language, but the cup actually says "Cup of Many Ales" on the outside. So not even an episode mistake. I think they just have a magic mug that they can be like, cool. And say this drink and Bloody Mary and boo boo boo.
I just assumed it was an episode mistake that I happened to catch when I was actually watching the episode. That's pretty cool.
I think it was intentional, and I love that because I would have missed it the first time, for sure. But
the movie club is such a great idea, and I was like trying to think of like my favorite clubs that I've been in growing up. Like TNDC was a great one that me and you had. Tuesday night drinking club that I can't really
drinking club.
There wasn't a lot of drinking that happened. It was mostly just friends chilling. And I'm like, I think I did a running club one time. I had Sigma Alpha Rho, which was a cigar drinking, smoking club, cigar drinking club. It was, we all threw up every night. Yeah. No.
Well, I was in when I was a kid, I was in a Magic Treehouse book club.
There you go. Because I would have fit right in with that.
Yeah, that one was awesome.
Those books were great. I think I read them way past I think they were for third graders, and I definitely read them in fifth grade.
Oh, yeah. They was just every school library had them stocked all the time. But great club. Definitely need to be a part of more clubs, too.
Yeah.
Social clubs.
Well, they can't watch the film. They stop. There's a warning. It's the copyright law warning saying, don't use for unauthorized whatever.
Yeah. Just like for the reason you couldn't like play the Super Bowl in the street and then charge people $5 to show up and stuff like that, you know?
Which is not what they're doing at all. They're not breaking any rules, but I just love how Finn's just like, respect authority, man. You know,
Yeah,
like
respect authority, man. Yeah,
this idea that
he's very righteous through this part, you know?
even though the authority that would have been in control of this was before the Mushroom War, and they say that it doesn't matter anymore, but he's just like, he just respects, he's so lawful in this episode. It's pretty incredible.
Very much
And
a
a little
follower.
annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of
A little
annoying,
annoying.
especially because he kicks people out and like,
Yeah,
and
no more
again,
movie night.
yeah, and no more like but that shows kind of like how Finn takes on every little challenge and adventure that comes his way. Is that this was something that people love? He was trying to be righteous about it. And we have like the Boom Boom Mountain situation all over again. Like just because it upset his friends, now he's got to go make a movie in order to still have movie club. And he's kind of doing it for his friends just to keep it rolling, you know?
And he goes all in with it. I think that's something we could definitely say about Finn is when he sets his mind to something, he's going for it. The fact that he finds a camera, they film their own movie or try to. I mean, you know, we'll get into that, but they definitely try and go the whole way. And we get to see some issues. The first or really the problem with the entire episode is that Finn and Jake, they didn't do any pre-production.
Yeah,
it all comes down to that.
I was going to say that officially there are 7 stages to making a film.
Okay.
It's development, pre-production, production, photography, wrap, post-production, and then distribution. So they definitely jumped straight into the third one, which is just producing. There was no
writing, and not even that, but no plan.
Just no plan.
Just B-rolls. All they had at first was just like B-roll. Like I was like, what is this avant-garde film of random junk, as they said, that they're creating? It was just the most ridiculous thing. I have a favorite clip from that first moment, though. Okay. I loved the candies that are having a picnic and eating other sweets. I thought that was fun little like nod. Whenever there's like candies eating candies, I'm just like cannibalism. Yeah. Candy cannibalism. Just like in episode 1.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, you can even see when Lemon Grab comes into the play in the future, like all of his citizens eat for a time being are just like basically lemon drops. It's very, very weird. But
is it
also my favorite clip there
Lemon
was
Grab voiced by?
Same guy that does Morty from Rick and Morty.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah. Justin Roiland.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So that's Lemon Grab's a great. You either love or you hate Lemon Grab, but that's the dilemma. Lemon Grab eats candy lemons, but my favorite little clip definitely from the beginning was this 2 candy people holding a strawberry by sticks over someone else's mouth. And
weird.
I thought it was going to like
so
drop.
Weird.
And there was like, oh, they're going to, but no, they were just holding it. And that was it. But
I think Finn even said weird. And then they moved on right there. There's like a little moment when he says that. Yeah. Man, two creative directing partners who have no similar vision. They have no idea what they're doing. Yeah. They're starting to film.
Dude, I got such a vibe, and just to make a callback because I couldn't help it, but from that the episode storytelling in season 1, where Jake gets sick, or was it the beginning of season 2? When Jake gets sick, and then Finn is tasked to go make a story for Jake to make him feel better, and then Finn just kind of like walks along and tries to just like see things in their essence and make a story out of it, and then kind of force a story out of it. And I feel like at least that first scene before they decide to like write a story, they're just like walking around filming, and they're like, "Get this! This is awesome!
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
similar
vibes, that? Like similar vibes to storytelling."
But instead, it wasn't as like forced. I don't think Finn or Jake were like. They were setting up scenes, but they weren't forcing people to like fall in love, you know, like it was a little different, but definitely a similar storyline. That's very interesting.
You know, what's so funny to me is that when they got all that footage, they went to BMO and they watched it all back. Right. And they watched back the footage and then they were like, it's pretty bad. I don't think we can make a movie out of this, but when they go and they write their movie and produce it and film all of it, they just give the film to BMO and say, make a movie. Like,
the magic's in the editing.
The magic's just, and you could even tell with neither of them, there was no consistent characters in the scenes, at least that we saw. And so I just
they
don't
were
know what.
setting up scenes, and then it was going for the other person's vision. The slime princess, like vision was Finn's. You do all those crazy things, and it ends up being romantic because Jake wanted a romantic comedy, and Finn wanted an action adventure film.
Yeah.
And then the same happened with the picnic where they were not the picnic. It's a picnic food fight essentially that he sets up with the butler. And who was the other person in that?
It was LSP and Pet Butt. Yeah.
Yeah, and that ends up being an action scene, sort of. It's a food fight, But,
yeah, like it almost each scene almost goes. They have their vision, but it goes the other way. I just wish I was like, if they were going to have the Todd Johnson wedding, that it was like Slime Princess, who was the woman standing in
some consistency, right?
Yeah, some sort of character consistency. So it would make sense for them to just hand it all over to BMO,
I had no clue what was going on there. That's a funny scene. I think we might have to take a little commercial break, and then we'll get back in and we'll discuss that scene and maybe get into some segments.
Yeah, get into some segments, but and analyze. We can break down the 4 scenes, but they're pretty much face value at that point. But yeah, we'll take a quick breather because oh man, we are at 21 minutes. Thanks for sticking around this long, guys, without taking a break.
Welcome to the ad break. Russell here. We got a review or a movie review from Review, everybody's favorite based magazine. This reviewer says, "Check Please, the first movie is a modern take on a classic romance action comedy adventure genre written and directed by self-acclaimed adventurers Finn and Jake. Fresh off 2 seasons of punctual adventuring, Check Please, the first movie, tackles the complexity of a human and dog and rainicorn and cupcake relationships with brilliance and fresh simplicity. Coined this generation's Citizen Kane, Check Please, the first movie, this Friday, if you can imagine it near you."
What's up, guys?
What's up, Ned? Sorry, you actually got me on that one.
If you guys don't know, since we're remote podcasting, I had to lead us in with actually like just me singing our theme song. So every
it's
time
the worst. It is the worst.
We come back in, Russell just hears me go.
It's very funny. Yeah, it's great.
Sometimes it gets him.
Anyways, how's it going, everybody? Fun ad break. I
break.
wrote that last night, and I was just that's good.
That was a good one. Like as if Check Please was a action rom-com romance that actually was released.
Yeah,
maybe there's all the B-roll that BMO stored away somewhere.
Couple fun little references to the Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, where it's like kind of an extended, ridiculous title where they just assumed there would be a second movie, stuff like that, But anyways,
man. Well, when it comes to like films and stuff, have you ever made your own short film or been like in school for a project, had to make short films and stuff?
Man, I have always wanted to. You are tapping into like a dream and like another universe. We actually had this conversation yesterday. There's a new Frothy Monkey over in East Nashville, not a sponsor. Frothy Monkey is fantastic. And we were talking about like in another universe, another timeline, what did you pursue? And kind of like the film or like cartoons, what we're talking about, like being a writer, I feel like would be so fun. And I always thought it would be a good idea to make, or just a fun expression to create YouTube videos with friends of mine. But I was the only friend determined to do skits on YouTube and no one else wanted to. So we didn't ever do it. What about yourself?
No, for me personally, I'd say I had a class in college where we had to do like a fake, some sort of video that would, the whole class was about if you are teaching elementary aged kids how to like create content and like products that kept them engaged essentially. So we did like a movie trailer about like teaching kids about the water cycle or something like ridiculous like that. It was really fun. And that's what I said. I think once you get into it, the creativity aspect is so much fun. I just don't know. The only thing that wasn't fun about it was the responsibility side. So again, I think I would always, if I did more video creating, it would be for fun on the side, not the obligation of having to remain creative in that space.
I think I could do funny bits. The more I think about it and just knowing who I am and my capabilities, I think it would be fun to be in a writer's room and to just spitball ideas. But that would be about all I could do. I don't think I would have the capability of writing out a script. I think that is too much for me. I was not good at reading and writing in school. As far as like, I was fine. I mean, I had good enough grades to get in the UGA or whatever, but it wasn't my strong suit. My strong suit was math at the time, so I just don't think it comes naturally for me as much as some other things do. But in this other universe, other timeline, I'm great at it. And so I pursued it.
Yeah. Basically, if you could change one aspect of you in a different timeline.
Yeah. Like instead of being musically talented, it's writing.
Yeah,
or
film
something.
buff or something like that.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. But no, it's interesting. I guess, now the extent of our short filmmaking is just with promotional TikToks and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
It kind of is.
We got that down to a pretty much a buzz science at this point. So that's
we
good.
need to take advantage of that. Maybe I'm too worried about messing up the algorithm. Anyways, back to the episode. We're talking about video makers.
Yeah, we're talking about video makers, and we're talking
and
about
not
that.
Tangenting.
But yeah, you told me that one of your favorites was the wedding scene that they were filming.
The wedding scene was good, man. Lady Rainicorn and my sexy character of the episode.
I want to have your baby.
Todd Johnson, also known as Mr. Cupcake.
Todd Johnson.
He's not really my type. He doesn't do it for me, but I can appreciate the time that he puts into sculpting those muscles.
Yeah,
I get why she was kind of like blushing at him.
Yeah, well, we go back. There is, I think, an episode even in a later season where somebody's at the beach and like Mr. Cupcake's around, and somebody gets jealous again because Mr. Cupcake's like out there like flexing or something like that.
Didn't you say he started a war, or a war started around him or something? Am I making that up in my mind?
I don't think so.
Dang it. Okay.
Oh, no. We were probably talking about, there's an episode where like Finn gets a bunch of miniature characters and he keeps like manipulating them to like do stuff. And so like there's a big like love triangle with his little miniature characters there.
That must be what it was.
It's kind of, that one's kind of funny, but it's not, it's all in like a hypothetical world.
Ah, dang. All right. Well, yeah, he's my sexy character. I think it might be created for the male gaze more than anything. I don't know if girls would really be into giant muscular arm cupcake people with. I don't know if he does blood day. I can't remember if
you
he's
never
got
know.
blood
Hey, if you're an overly large fan of Mr. Cupcake out there, let us know. We need to know if anybody actually likes him.
Yeah, and not just dudes being like, "Hell yeah, buff dude, awesome." It's like superheroes. Not that sort of a thing. But anyways, yeah, man. Also, it's funny. They're kind of taking a very cliche, kind of classic, like teen movie trope of, you're not in love. She's doing this for a bet, but then you'll find out that y'all are actually in love. Like Jake's mindset is he's killing it. Romantic comedy. I mean, I could think of Not Another Teen Movie, which basically has that exact plot.
Well, yeah, and that one's like a whole, what is it, like satirical movie about all the rom-coms. But that is, I'm glad you bring that up because I noted that like kind of everything that Jake suggests is like the bad idea from a rom-com movie. Like
it is, yeah.
Like, and that maybe either like overly or like too stereotypical, or him just getting so obsessed with Jack, please. And I was like, does Jake know anything about romance at all, or is he literally now? Because remember, he gives so much relationship advice to Finn, and then he's over here writing a rom-com and it has like zero bit of originality or actual meat to it.
Yeah, and then he pulls I was about to make a Will Smith reference, but it's topical right now because it happened last night at the Oscars, but it won't be in 4 weeks when this comes out. Yeah. So whatever. He goes, "What? I don't see her complaining," or whatever, and then jumps Mr. Cupcake and they start fighting.
Oh so man, ridiculous. Now Jake being in the movie would have been great if that was the scene, and then there's a jealous person that jumps in and like, that's my girl. Like that would make for the better movie, in my opinion.
Maybe you should have been helping him out, man.
Maybe we just have to write and do a whole screenplay for our own check please. Well, volume
A
1. Send it into
romantic
Cartoon
comedy?
Network.
Yeah. Based off of Adventure Time characters.
Yeah.
Or are you trying to do an action adventure?
Man, you can do both. That's the
Well,
funny
which
thing.
one do
Like,
you want to do? Which one are you trying to do?
I think me and you personally would.
Let's say it at the same
write a
time.
better
Ready?
one
3, 2, 1. Action
rom-com.
adventure.
No, we'd do a better. I think we would do a better. I would do in either one of them with you. But
let's just film a bunch of random crap and we'll leave it up to editing.
yeah,
we'll leave it up to Michael.
We'll send it to Michael. We'll give him a grab bag of footage to make it, and he's the BMO to our operation.
I'm flattered and scared that y'all think I could do this.
Ned, why are you
magic.
Fighting with your friend?
Oh man, that's I don't know. We would be terrible screenwriters.
Yes. Well, at the end of that scene, while we're talking about it, we're wrapping it up. My tops of the episode: Shelby asking for the check.
Yes,
it's the best part of the episode.
Yeah. Well, that leads to my lovely of the episode, which is Shelby.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Shelby. Yep.
Is that
Shelby,
your lovely?
The worm that lives in Jake's viola.
Yeah, I love every episode that has Shelby in it because the voice acting is just absolutely flawless for that character.
It's perfect. It fits perfectly.
So perfect. Like, go back to our TikTok and watch the Christmas special post as well, and it's the scene where it's from Adventure Time Christmas, and it's like Shelby being like, 2 guys just showed up at the party, a booger, tree trunks, Jake the dog, a piece of paper. Like, it's such a good like Shelby voice scene.
Oh man, yeah, they kind of had to clarify at the beginning of the episode the worm that lives in Jake's viola, because it's been forever. We've seen Shelby once, I think, in the entire series, and it was when he needed advice, and he discussed it with Shelby, and Shelby was very like not really giving him great advice, but
but that's why in this episode, that scene, he's like, and a thimble of milk for Shelby, the worm that lives in Jake's viola, and he's like, dude, you can just call me Shelby.
Very cute. My lovely is Slime Princess.
Oh, what? Oh.
I know. I don't know if I would have ever imagined it be Slime Princess, the ditto character of this show.
Is it because she dove into a pit of alligators and survived?
She was bold enough to dive into the water and cute enough to smooch an alligator in the end. Yeah. There was just something, it caught me off guard. You had Finn and Jake's mouths just agape, just in awe that the alligators just went after her as if that wasn't going to happen anyway.
Yeah, for real.
But she did it, and it was kind of cute when she was kissing the alligator. I don't know why.
It's cute until we have this episode down the road. It's a full kind of like Finn does an adventure in the Slime Kingdom with Slime Princess, and every time she comes around after that, she's creepy to me. Like her, like, I'm so smoochable and cute. I'm like, dude, you're creepy, man.
I want to say she was my most punchable character at one point.
Yeah. It might have been in the Ice King dating episode. She was most punchable, maybe.
In Prisoners of Love, I don't think I had the most punchable character thing yet, but I said kind of creepy, like a weird breathy voice, almost seductive, but great character design.
Yeah.
So that must be what I'm thinking.
I think that's exactly how I still feel. But you gained a little bit of respect enough for her to be your lovely this week.
Maybe it was the fact that she didn't really talk, and it was just the action itself was cute. And I was like, oh, that's freaking wild that she ended up making out with the alligator. I don't know.
I couldn't tell if she was like making out with it or if she was like keeping it at bay by smooching it. That's what I was thinking.
She was like holding its mouth.
Yeah.
You know, you can hold an alligator's mouth shut. Interesting.
That's
maybe she was being like, what's up, alligator? Gotcha. You know?
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought. And being kind of like, what is it if you put your hand under an alligator's like tongue mouth, like the soft part of its chin, it like won't move, which is really wild.
Whoa. Is that real?
Yeah, I think so. Don't go try it at home. But I think that's some Steve Irwin stuff on for you right there.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
don't do that, and don't tell anyone we sent you to do it.
No, not at all. Well, now really the movie's done in this episode. They are now both pumped that it's about to get post-produced by BMO, who's going to spend 20 hours editing all the footage.
Jeez.
And I love how at this point, either both of them still believe that their movie's going to get made and not the other person's, which I think is really funny. Also,
Feels very Hollywood.
At that point, what surprises me, and I could call this a Jake mistake of the episode.
Making big pancakes.
I have one stretchy power Jake mistake and one actual one, but like if Jake only liked his footage and Finn only liked his footage, couldn't they have just asked BMO to make 2 different movies and had double movie
need
night?
That anyways? Yeah, they at the end of the episode, the other characters are like, "Oh, can't wait till next week," so they're gonna have to do it anyways.
Yeah, that's why I said just like we shouldn't have even been fighting at once, and maybe they just really wanted it to be a bros project, and like we're bros, like this has to be a movie we have to work on together.
And they were trying to be the Coen brothers or the Russo brothers or Russell and Ned or Elton John and Bernie Taupin or what, all our favorite partner creators out there.
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry. You can't have Ben without Jerry in that case, and you can't have Finn without Jake. So,
man, love BJ's.
I get it, but at that point they do what?
Nothing. I was making a Ben and Jerry's joke.
You threw me off my crew.
It'll be funny. And when we listen back through it, probably, maybe not. I don't know. Whatever.
But I was saying, with them doing it together, I guess was more meaningful for them than anything, I guess. But they should have made 2 movies. That's where I'll leave it at that.
I agree. My beef is actually with the final product a little bit, though.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really understand. I'm guessing BMO created the 2D pixelated green animation himself, right? None of that was actually any footage that they filmed out there because it wouldn't look like that.
I think it was filmed, but you did see that BMO downloads all of the footage from the camera into his mainframe game frame that we talked about the other week. Downloads it all there, and then when he displays it into the hologram, he has to like rig up wires to him and like almost has this like explosion moment, and the wires rig up to the hologram. So I think it's like a.
But do you think it was actual footage that they shot while they were out there doing all the B-roll and filming, or do you think it was just something he made with his powers? I think it was
B-roll stuff because it was like stuff like the first scene of BMO's little movie is Jake on the megaphone and like coughing, and then Finn like brings him a glass of water to
then my beef is that they have hologram technology and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
What's the point of it?
Who's developing it? I think they're just still like using old equipment that somebody out there in the past, pre-Mushroom War, we know at this point, had a hologram doer, but they probably also had TVs, but Jake and Finn obviously don't have a TV. So this is the equivalent to like, we shot a movie in 8K, BMO. But you're watching it on a flat or on an old school TV. It wasn't meant to be consumed in that format,
Yeah. Well, according to BMO's mug, he is the number one Mo. So
number one Mo, and you'll know what that means. I want to talk about that, but
I don't know what that means.
BMO doesn't know what that means at this point, but there's some great, like I've mentioned it almost every week now. There's great BMO episodes coming up.
Okay. Well, I don't think they're going to be able to top BMO's movie that he put together. The song is really great. It probably should have been my tops for the episode if Check Please had not been a part of this, because this song is just really fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Hurting your friends will make you sadder. Guys, you are much more than this. Like, he's like, come on, y'all, like, get back together, be friends. Like, it's just a movie,
Yeah.
And I love that. BMO, the third roommate who like facilitates their friendship in a great way.
Yeah. BMO, when they do fight or ever are at odds, BMO is a really good neutralizer, I feel like.
Yeah, sometimes you need that reminder to communicate, and express your thoughts. And yeah, we've talked about that in the past, but it can be dang hard to get over your own ego. And we see that in Finn and Jake both having trouble getting over
Yeah,
their
yeah.
ego in this episode.
And that's what I was going to mention. Kind of, I don't have like a ton of deep thoughts or like deep, like anything from this episode, more as much as I usually do. But I did say, like, I was like, oh, this kind of is just, I feel like everybody can relate to this episode in one way, shape, or form. Whenever you're doing your thing that's creative, more than often, unless you're like a solo artist, even if it's sports too, you have to collaborate, and pretty much that teamwork aspect has to be there. And it's okay to have the differing opinions. Differing opinions typically make the end product better. But that goes, I was going to say that makes me deep think about our podcast. Well, how many times we've had production meetings on how we want one thing to look or flow, and
Yeah.
we
Every
have
commercial
differing opinions.
we debate the commercials for 10 minutes, and then they always end up bad.
At least
but it's true. It is true,
the
though.
Podcast, and then that ends up bad. But we find that middle ground of the creativity, and you can't push someone else's down. I couldn't say, actually, Michael, as you're editing this, about 50% of it works, and it's only the things that I say.
Oh gosh, neither one of us are ever going to go behind the other person's back, hopefully, and be like, Michael, get rid of. And knowing Michael, he would. Well, if you did it, he may not tell me, but if I did it, he might tell you.
No, we keep things pretty transparent. That's why we use Google Docs for any notes.
Yeah, definitely,
and edits. So
what they don't know is that I edit the crap out of both of them.
Yeah, and I think we're due for one of those meetings, but it's just one of those things. It's like we say, every passion, if you do it and try and build something out of it, there's going to be a business aspect to it. Anytime you're working with a friend or doing something that you love, eventually, like, you're going to come into like little bumps in the road, and you gotta get past them.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've done a decent job at that so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then that's, I think we've done a pretty darn good job.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
We gotta get some guests on here, though, man. We gotta get some freaking guests on this podcast.
We do gotta get some more fun guests on there. But I was gonna say, that made me think kind of just about when you said mixing business with the creativity side, and I went back to look at the 7 stages of making a film, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty much stage by stage switches between like development and pre-production. That's the creative side. Production is technical and business side. Photography is more creative side. And technical on that end. The wrap and post-production, that is a lot of technicality but very creative, and then distribution's like all business. Yeah,
they have to coincide.
Yeah, so all of those like moving pieces between the business side and then the creative side also have to flow together. And that I feel like most disputes with anybody come on the creative aspect of it, and not as much the technical.
Man, this would have been a great episode to have a director on. But again, we'll work on those guests. Yeah. We'll get there. Any listeners out there, if y'all have any friends in high places that you think would be really rad on the podcast, let us know. But y'all, my lesson, hop into lessons real fast.
Yeah, I'm down to hop into a lesson.
Start a club, even if it's for a joke. An anime club, well, that's not a joke, but an anime club would be great. Beyblade club. I saw one on TikTok, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Some high schoolers playing with Beyblades.
Yeah.
Just, it facilitates great hangs. And I feel like some of my favorite and best friends have come from either clubs that we joined not knowing each other, or we created ourselves as a joke or for fun or as a way to force people to hang out with us or whatever, like just fun stuff. And make a club. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just joined. I'm not going to say join. Me and my buddies are thinking about maybe officializing something around like a wine club, but like guys only wine club. We'll throw big events and stuff, but we'll on a weekly basis go drink a glass of wine.
Oh, Ned, making me jealous.
Try
boys' night.
Boys' night. But we'll see. But yeah, that's the one I'm trying to figure out how to make happen right now.
Yeah.
What's your other? Is that your only lesson?
Yeah, the other lesson is we just talked about it. Creative partners are cool, but you have to split it up. in order. Well, sorry, I'm reading through my notes. Actually, creative partners are cool, but you got to split up all that good advertising money. So my lesson is maybe don't have a creative partner.
It's true. The more artists that write your song with you, or the more songwriters that are in the room, the more money you're giving them.
It's true. Yeah,
it's very true. But that kind of goes into my lesson, my second lesson. My first lesson is don't sleep on BMO, because BMO's got some skills, dude. I didn't even talk about it, but the fact that BMO, who we just thought was their thing that played video games, like now we realize has the mainframe game frame, has the ability that those bunny and
like
the frog
suck people in and do the cheat code,
and now BMO has built-in automated video editing skills and be able to like translate all of that into holograms. And we realize that BMO's a great songwriter now, so don't sleep
it's
on
one
BMO.
Of the better
my
songs.
First lesson.
Yeah, it's one of the better songs of probably the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, so far this is definitely the one where they hit you with the heartstring. They hit you with like, this is a legit song. Like even there, you could tell they put some thought and heart into it when they wrote it.
Yeah.
My second lesson is goes on what your final lesson was, and what you were saying is that I think creativity is harder to work with when you have to collaborate. But every time I think I've done collaboration on anything creative, it actually makes a better product. That a one-tracked mind can't see your own pitfalls, and you have to be able to let other people jump in and give constructive criticism. I don't think Jake and Vin were very good at constructive criticism, more just flat out criticism. But that's I think kind of the nature of what makes the best product. And I think BMO was at least the one that took that and made it the best product in their case. But it was because of the collaboration.
Well, if you do that wrong, you end up with the prequels. So let's not do that.
Let's not do that, man. Well,
I don't know. They're growing on me. I like the prequels. They're fine.
Well, I was going to ask just because we've really kind of hit this on the head the last couple of episodes. Like, where does this one sit to you in terms of season 2 favorites, as we're almost over?
It's not going to be in the top 10. Man, we are creeping up on the end of the season, though.
Yeah.
It might be. Here's the thing. At the end of the season, I go back through and I kind of speed watch all the episodes and skim through my notes and just see how I felt like when I spent a little time doing that on the first season. I'll probably do that again on the second season.
Yeah, it's about
it might surprise me.
Season's like a 6-hour binge, maybe. Like,
yeah, it might surprise me. And there's some like ways to like watch it on YouTube where you could speed it up to like 2 times faster or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'll do that sort of, but I don't know, man. I
enjoy
think
enjoy your rewatch, man. I realize that I actually have to stop and sit, and because I know the show, I'll jump to like season 7 and just watch Adventure Time for enjoyment without thinking anything podcast related. And it makes you feel like you're watching it through a little bit of a different lens. So do that the next time, getting ready for our season 2 wrap. But yeah, I was going to say this one's going to sit pretty low on the list in terms of favorites on the season, because I'm like, oh, dude, we started season 2 off with Nightosphere. Like, come on.
True.
Like, we got so many good ones.
We had some dang good episodes this season, so it probably, it's going to be pretty low. We got Susan Strong, Mystery Train, freaking Pokemon, the first movie.
Freaking Pokemon, the first movie.
Death in Bloom, that was a great one.
Oh, yeah.
There's some good stuff in here. Well,
all right, man.
We'll see.
Tell these lovely travelers where they can put on their travel boots and follow us.
Thank you for listening. Check us out, y'all. We're on Instagram at Never Ending Adventure Podcast, TikTok at Never Ending Adventure Cast, Twitter at NEA_podcast. You can email us, just like we talked about at the beginning of this episode. The Traveler's Log is at nea.travelerslog@gmail.com. You can also check us out on YouTube. That's a lot. It's like another way to listen and check out the show and our clips that we post if TikTok's not really your thing, or Instagram for that matter. And also, if you review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, which is an app that's already on your phone if you have an iPhone, you can take a snapshot of that and send it to us, and we'll send you all a sticker. Like, I'm keeping track right now. We've got a couple already in, just because kind of ahead of time. The 50th episode hasn't even aired, but I just told a couple people. So yeah, get your stickers. It'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. I've got 2 recs to end this. Something I think I might want to start doing is just like a real quick rec, not talk about it. Just here's what it is. My rec, Into the Wild. Watched it maybe last weekend, and it shook me. It rocked me. It's crazy. It's kind of sad. So if you're not prepared for that, don't watch it. And Tim Burton's Batman. So dang good.
Is that Michael Keaton or?
It is Michael Keaton. Yeah. And Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, see, that's they always like say Michael
classic.
Keaton. They talk about him being the best Bruce Wayne, and it's hard. Yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker's awesome, but it's like such a different Joker than Jack Nicholson. Yeah. So,
well, Jack Nicholson's toward the end of the movie, he has a pistol in his pants that's 4 feet long. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's great. It's very comic booky. Tim Burton's world feels very like of Gotham City in the comic books. It's really cool. Rewatching that.
Yeah, so, that's a good one. Well, and my rec is the new Batman.
Yeah,
great.
It's better.
It's good. It's really good.
Really good.
We could do a whole review on that one, but I'm sure that's probably getting so overkilled in the podcast world right now. Yeah.
But yeah. Check us again next Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we got a new episode for you guys. I'm sure next week we'll probably. What do you think, Ned? Probably just another lighthearted, enjoyable, upbeat Adventure Time episode?
No, not necessarily. We have got next week. We are starting to, I think, kind of get to our 3 episodes left of season 2, and it wraps pretty intensely. Like we start to see, and I say, I've always said the end of when Finn's with the Fire Princess, or when she comes into play. That's when it starts getting deep. I don't think I realized that the end of season 2 wraps up kind of just like the tone changes a little bit. And we'll talk about this all next week, but the tone begins to change in terms of seriousness. And when you have those lighthearted episodes like this one versus when things get real, So it's not going to be a fun, lighthearted per se discussion. We'll keep it that way, but
party forever?
Maybe. I love the juice, guys.
All right. See ya.
See you.